Stop and think about your morning. You wake up, check your phone, scroll social media, read emails, start reacting to the world before you've even decided who you are today. By 9 a.m., you're already responding to other people's priorities, other people's problems, other people's energy, and you wonder why you feel scattered, reactive, and powerless by noon. Napoleon Hill lived that way for 40 years, waking up and immediately plunging into the day's demands. And those 40 years were marked by struggle, inconsistency, and constant doubt. Then in 1937, at age 54, Hill discovered something that changed everything. Not a complex morning routine requiring an hour of meditation, journaling, exercise, and visualization, just 6 minutes. 6 specific minutes done in a specific way that transformed Hill from someone who struggled with consistency to someone who achieved extraordinary focus and results for the next 33 years until his death. If you stay with me for the next 15 minutes, I'm going to tell you exactly what Hill did in those 6 minutes. Not theory, the actual practice. Step by step, minute by minute. And I'm going to show you why this 6-minute ritual, when done correctly, creates more transformation than elaborate morning routines that take an hour but lack the essential element Hill discovered. Before we go deeper, comment right now, "I control my morning." Because if you don't control the first 6 minutes of your day, the day will control you. Hit like, subscribe to the channel, and let's discover Napoleon Hill's 6-minute morning ritual that changed everything. Here's what led to the discovery. By 1937, Hill had finally published Think and Grow Rich after 29 years of research. The book was starting to sell, but Hill himself was still struggling with consistency. Some days he was focused, productive, unstoppable. Other days he was scattered, reactive, barely functional. He couldn't understand why. He knew the principles, he taught them to others, but he couldn't consistently apply them to his own life. Then one morning he woke up at 4 a.m., unable to sleep. His mind was racing with worry about money, concerns about whether the book would succeed, anxiety about his future. And lying there in the dark, Hill had a realization. He didn't control the first thoughts of his day, they controlled him. Whatever worry, fear, or anxiety was lurking in his subconscious would surge forward the moment he woke, and those thoughts would set the tone for his entire day. Hill understood immediately that this was the problem. He was letting his subconscious mind, programmed by years of fear and struggle, dictate his mental state each morning. And once that state was established in the first minutes of waking, it was nearly impossible to change. He'd spend the entire day fighting against the momentum created in those first, unguarded moments. So Hill decided to experiment. What if he could take control of those first minutes? What if instead of letting random subconscious thoughts set his state, he deliberately chose his state before anything else could intrude? He developed a 6-minute ritual, and he tested it for 30 days. The results were so dramatic that he continued it for the remaining 33 years of his life. Here's the ritual. 6 minutes, 4 distinct parts. Part 1, 90 seconds of gratitude declaration. The moment Hill woke, before opening his eyes, before moving, he would mentally list 3 specific things he was genuinely grateful for. Not generic gratitude, specific, real, felt. For example, I am grateful for Annie Lou, who understands my purpose and supports it without resentment. I am grateful for my health, which allows me to work with focus today. I am grateful for the principle of definiteness of purpose, which gives my life direction. Why 90 seconds? Because it takes that long to shift from the grogginess of sleep into genuine emotional engagement with what you're saying. Less than 90 seconds and you're just reciting words. More than 90 seconds and you start thinking instead of feeling. Hill said, gratitude is the fastest way to shift from scarcity consciousness to abundance consciousness, but only if it's real. If you're just listing things mechanically, it does nothing. Part 2, 120 seconds of purpose recitation. Hill would sit up in bed and mentally recite his definite major purpose. Not read it, recite it from memory with eyes closed, word for word, exactly as he'd written it. For Hill, it was something like, "My definite major purpose is to help people discover and apply the principles of achievement so they can live with purpose, prosperity, and peace. I commit my time, energy, and resources to this purpose. I will serve with integrity until my last breath." He'd say this slowly, deliberately, feeling each word, seeing himself living it, experiencing it as already true. Why 120 seconds? Because your definite major purpose should take about that long to recite properly. If it's shorter, it's probably too vague. If it's longer, it's probably too complicated. Hill said, "Reciting your purpose every morning programs your subconscious to align all your daily decisions with that purpose. Skip this and you'll spend the day reacting instead of creating." Part 3, 90 seconds of fear confrontation. This is the part most people skip. Hill would deliberately bring up his biggest current fear or doubt: money concerns, relationship worries, health anxiety, whatever was lurking. And he would look at it directly and say out loud, "I see this fear. I acknowledge it exists, but I refuse to let it control my actions today. This fear is just a thought. It's not reality. I choose faith over fear. I choose action over paralysis." Why confront fear deliberately? Because if you don't, it operates in the background all day, draining your energy without you realizing it. By confronting it directly for 90 seconds, you drain its power. You acknowledge it exists, but refuse to let it drive. Hill said, "Most people avoid their fears, hoping they'll go away. They never do. They just operate subconsciously, sabotaging everything." Face the fear for 90 seconds each morning, and it loses power over your day. Part 4, 120 seconds of daily intention. Hill would mentally walk through his day and set specific intentions. Not a to-do list, intentions. For example, today I will write for 3 hours with complete focus. Today I will listen to Annie Lou with full presence when she speaks. Today I will respond to difficulty with patience instead of frustration. Today I will see obstacles as opportunities to prove the principles work. 3 to 5 intentions, specific behaviors, clear mental images of himself acting that way. Why intentions instead of tasks? Because tasks are external. Intentions are internal. Tasks tell you what to do. Intentions tell you who to be. And who you are determines what you accomplish far more than what you try to do. Hill said, "Most people plan their tasks but not their character for the day. Then they wonder why they accomplish tasks but feel empty. Set intentions for who you'll be, and the tasks take care of themselves." That was the ritual. 6 minutes total. 90 seconds gratitude. 2 minutes purpose recitation. 90 seconds fear confrontation. 2 minutes daily intention. Done every single morning before anything else. Before checking anything. Before talking to anyone. Before doing anything. First thing, non-negotiable. And Hill said that this 6-minute ritual was the single most important factor in his productivity and consistency for the final 33 years of his life. More important than diet, more important than exercise, more important than time management techniques. Why? Because this ritual set his internal state. An internal state determines everything else. Here's what Hill noticed after implementing this consistently. First, his decision-making improved dramatically. Because he started each day clear about his purpose and intentions, every decision became simple. Does this align with my purpose? Yes or no. Does this support my intentions for today? Yes or no. Before the ritual, he'd agonize over decisions, second-guess himself, waste hours in indecision. After the ritual, decisions became fast and clear. Second, his emotional resilience increased. Setbacks that would have derailed him for days before the ritual now barely affected him. Why? Because he was confronting fear every morning, building the mental muscle to acknowledge difficulty without being controlled by it. Third, his productivity without overwhelm skyrocketed. He was getting more done but feeling less stressed. Because he wasn't reacting to the day, he was creating the day from clear intention. Fourth, his relationships improved. Because one of his daily intentions was always about presence and listening, so he showed up differently with people. Not distracted, not thinking about work, present, and people felt it. Fifth, his sense of meaning and fulfillment deepened. Because every morning he was reconnecting to why his work mattered. Not just what he was doing, but why it mattered. That daily reconnection kept the work from becoming empty routine. Now here's what makes this ritual so powerful compared to elaborate morning routines. Most morning routines are about doing things. Meditation, exercise, journaling, reading, all good activities, but they're external. Hill's ritual was internal. It wasn't about what he did, it was about who he became in those 6 minutes. You can meditate for 30 minutes and still start your day in scarcity consciousness if you don't deliberately shift to gratitude. You can journal for 20 minutes and still drift through your day without purpose if you don't recite your definite major purpose. You can exercise for an hour and still let fear run in the background if you don't confront it directly. Hill's ritual targeted the exact mental shifts that determine everything else. Scarcity to abundance through gratitude. Drift to direction through purpose recitation. Fear to faith through confrontation. Reaction to creation through intention. 6 minutes, 4 shifts, changed everything. The Stoics understood this principle completely. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "When you wake up in the morning, tell yourself, the people I deal with today will be meddling, ungrateful, arrogant, dishonest, jealous, and surly." Why did he start his day this way? Not to be negative, to set realistic expectations and clear internal state before encountering reality. He was doing what Hill did, setting state first. Everything else followed. Epictetus taught his students, "First thing every morning tell yourself, today I will meet people who are interfering, ungracious, insolent, full of guile, deceitful, and antisocial. But I have seen the beauty of good and the ugliness of evil, and have recognized that the wrongdoer has a nature related to my own." Again, setting internal state before external engagement. Seneca wrote, "Begin at once to live and count each separate day as a separate life." How do you begin at once to live? By taking control of the first minutes. By deciding who you'll be before the world tells you who to be. That's what Hill's ritual accomplished. Now here's how you implement this starting tomorrow morning. Set your alarm 6 minutes earlier than usual. When it goes off, do not touch your phone. Do not check anything. Do not think about your to-do list. Just begin. Step 1. 90 seconds of specific gratitude. Eyes closed. 3 things you're genuinely grateful for. Feel them. Don't just list them. Feel the gratitude. Examples. I'm grateful for my health, which lets me pursue my goals today. I'm grateful for my partner who supports me even when it's hard. I'm grateful for my ability to learn and grow, regardless of age. Step 2. 2 minutes reciting your definite major purpose. If you don't have one written, write it today before bed. It should answer, what do I want to achieve? Why does it matter? How will I serve others through achieving it? Memorize it. Tomorrow morning, recite it with eyes closed. See yourself living it. Step 3. 90 seconds confronting your biggest current fear. Name it out loud. I'm afraid I'll fail at this business. Then say, I acknowledge this fear, but I refuse to let it control my actions today. I choose faith over fear. I choose action over paralysis. Feel the shift from being controlled by the fear to acknowledging and releasing it. Step 4. 2 minutes setting daily intentions, not tasks, intentions for who you'll be. Examples. Today I will focus deeply when I work. Today I will listen fully when others speak. Today I will respond to challenges with patience. Today I will see obstacles as opportunities. Choose 3 to 5. See yourself acting that way. That's it, 6 minutes. Do this before anything else, before phone, shower, coffee, conversation, first thing. And here's what will happen. The first week you'll notice you're starting days differently, less reactive, more grounded. The second week you'll notice decision-making feels easier, clearer. The third week you'll notice you're more consistent, following through on intentions. By the fourth week, you'll understand why Hill did this for 33 years. Because 6 minutes of setting internal state is worth more than hours of reacting to external demands. Hill said about this ritual in his later years, "People ask me about productivity systems and time management techniques. I tell them the same thing. Control your first 6 minutes and everything else becomes easier. Lose your first 6 minutes to phone, email, or random thoughts, and you'll spend the entire day trying to regain control you never established." 6 minutes of deliberate state setting is the difference between a reactive life and a creative life. That statement contains profound wisdom. Most people don't fail because they lack productivity techniques. They fail because they don't control their starting state each day. They wake up and immediately let external forces determine their internal condition. Then they spend the day feeling scattered, overwhelmed, and powerless. Hill's ritual solves this. It gives you a simple, fast way to establish internal control before external engagement. Marcus Aurelius led the Roman Empire, fought wars, dealt with constant crises, but he started each day setting his internal state through philosophy and reflection. That internal strength allowed him to handle external chaos without being controlled by it. Seneca faced political intrigue, exile, and eventual execution, but he maintained internal peace through daily practices that set his state regardless of circumstances. Epictetus was a slave who became one of history's greatest philosophers. His freedom wasn't external, it was internal, and it came from daily practices that reminded him of what he controlled and what he didn't. Hill learned the same principle. External circumstances will always be unpredictable, but internal state is completely controllable. An internal state determines how you respond to everything external. So here's your challenge. Tomorrow morning, set your alarm 6 minutes earlier. Do the ritual exactly as described. 90 seconds gratitude, 2 minutes purpose, 90 seconds fear confrontation, 2 minutes intention. Before anything else. Do this for 30 days, then evaluate. Compare how you feel, how you perform, how you relate to others in these 30 days versus the previous 30 days. Hill's bet is that 6 minutes of morning ritual will transform your entire life more than any productivity hack, time management system, or motivational technique. Why? Because it targets the root, your internal state. Everything else is branches. Fix the root and the branches take care of themselves. Comment, "I control my morning." Like this video so others discover that 6 minutes changes everything. Subscribe because we're teaching the simple practices that create extraordinary results. And share this with someone who starts their day scattered and wonders why life feels chaotic. Napoleon Hill spent 40 years starting days reactively. Then he discovered 6 minutes that changed everything. The ritual is simple. The results are profound. Start tomorrow. Control your first 6 minutes. Control your entire day. Let's go.